Good afternoon, good morning, whenever you're watching this, guys. Okay, so as I said in our overview video today, that you're going to be doing this guided practice, and we're just going to read through this. Initially, what I wanted to do was we were going to do this in class together, and I was going to ask you, hey, what does this underline? Hey, does I was filling out, is that preterite or is that imperfect? Well, why do you think it's preterite? Why do you think it's imperfect? But since we don't have that opportunity, I'm just going to go through it quickly, just to show you what preterite and imperfect the differences are. You should just watch the videos over when to use the preterite and talking about actions done in a specific moment, when to use the imperfect to tell the action was ongoing. The two yeses, do you get two yeses? Is the action completed? Or can you put it on a calendar or in a journal? That video. We're just going to look at some of this because you can get into some gray area where it can be confusing. Most of our things that we're going to do, we're going to try to keep real simple. All right, so this is called the Aggie Bricklayer. I don't know why. I didn't create this. Actually, a friend of mine did. I guess he thought it was funny because this should really be more of a Longhorn bricklayer or a Baylor Bear bricklayer. Sounds like something they could do. Usually Aggies are called to do these jobs because they don't get in accidents like we're going to read. But anyways, all right, so let's look at, so what we see is we see a lot of underlined verbs, and what we're just going to, what I'm going to discuss is that preterite or is that imperfect, okay, and why? All right, so it says, Dear Sir, I'm writing in response to your request for additional information. When I was filling out block number 3, so I was filling out, okay, if you look at that, anytime you get the verb expressed this way with the participle form, filling, talking, writing, lying, usually that's going to lead to that's going to be imperfect because what it's doing here is he's explaining what he was in progress of doing. He's giving the background information for his story here. Okay, so this would be imperfect. I was filling out. Now in English we have two verbs here. We have was and then filling, the participle form, okay? But in Spanish, that would be just one verb in the imperfect. Llenar means to fill, okay? So it'd be llenaba instead of was filling out. You just say yo llenaba, and you would have it. So I was filling out block number 3 of the accident reporting form. I wrote, okay? So when you look at that and you hear it, it sounds like the action is completed. I wrote working alone. So in that moment, on block number 3 of this form, he wrote. So that would be preterite. You'd say, yo escribí. I wrote, working alone as the cause of my accident. And then the next verb, you said in your letter. So whenever he got this letter, whenever it was in that moment, he said it. It's not that he was continually saying it over and over. He said it in that letter, in that moment. So this is preterite. You said. Tu dijiste is what you would get in your letter that I should explain more fully, and I hope these details will be sufficient. I am a bricklayer. On the day of the accident, I was working. So here he's telling us action in progress that was going on, ongoing action. Okay, so that's imperfect. I was working. Okay, so he would say, yo trabajaba. I was working alone on the roof of a 6-story building when I completed my work. Completed. Remember, one of the uses of the preterite is to tell completed action. Well, you can't get more completed than when you say I completed. Okay. So this would be preterite. I discovered. Again, ed ending, simple past tense. That's preterite. In that moment, specific point, he discovered about 500 pounds of brick were lying. Okay, we don't know when these bricks were started lying there. Okay, they're still lying there, but this would be imperfect. It's giving a description. We're lying on the floor, so we put this part in the imperfect. And again, here's that participle form ending in ing, so that tells me that would be in the imperfect. Rather than carry the bricks down by hand, I decided. So in that moment, when he saw the bricks were lying on the floor, he decided. Okay, completed action made in that specific moment on that day. Okay, he decided to lower them in a barrel using a pulley attached to the side of the building on the 6th floor. I tied the rope. Completed action. That's preterite. I tied the rope at ground level and I went up. Okay, this again would be preterite. Yo subí. Okay, I went up to the roof, swung the barrel, preterite again, and loaded the bricks into it. Okay, again, that's all preterite. It's completed action that happened in that moment. Okay, then I went back to the ground and untied the rope. Okay, both of these are, again, preterite. It's action that's completed at that moment in his story. So now he's going to start giving some background information. So something else is about to happen. He says, I was holding it tight to assure the slow descent. So he's giving us background information, the narrator is here. So again, this is going to be imperfect because this action is ongoing. This was ongoing. So he was holding it when something else is about to happen. And that something else that's about to happen would be in the preterite. I was holding it tight to assure slow descent of the 500 pounds of bricks. You remember that in block 11, now he's kind of jumping back to the form again. In block 11 of the accident reporting form, I wrote. Okay, that's preterite on that form. So back to the action. He was holding it tight. Due to my surprise at being yanked off the ground suddenly, I lost, again, that's preterite, my presence of mind, and I forgot. Preterite. In that moment, specific point, okay, he forgot to let go of the rope. Needless to say, I ascended. Okay, so he was holding on to this when all these things happened, and he ascended at a rather rapid rate up the side of the building. All of these are preterite. Okay, so as he was holding on, these things happened. Okay, so this was happening. Holding it tight was the ongoing action when these things happened. Okay, the things that happened would be in the preterite. All right, and then you see it again. In the vicinity of the 3rd floor, as I was going up, I met. Now, here what we have is an ongoing action. We have the bricklayer going up when he was interrupted. His action of going up was interrupted by the barrel. And he said, I met the barrel. In Spanish, we probably say, I hit the barrel. Okay, and that would be preterite. So this is imperfect. I was going up, interrupted by this preterite action. Okay, and the barrel, it was coming down, was also interrupted when it hit me, or the bricklayer. Okay, hopefully that's clear, but you can look at how it's phrased, and that's telling you ongoing action, preterite action, okay, that interrupts these two. It interrupted the barrel coming down and me going up. All right, I continued up rapidly. Now, this is a tricky one. Okay, this one really would be imperfect because you could say I was continuing going up rapidly. I was going up rapidly. Okay, I continued going rapidly, whatever you want to say it, but this is ongoing action still. Okay, so this would be imperfect because remember, imperfect can be translated to I continued, I was continuing, I used to continue, things like that. Okay, so this would actually, in my mind, it would be imperfect. I continued up rapidly, not stopping because this action is ongoing. Not stopping until the fingers of my right hand were 2 knuckles deep in the pulley. That sounds painful. Unfortunately, by this time, I came to. So he was going up and then he came to after the bricks hit him. So he woke up and he managed to hold tightly. Both of these are preterite. Okay, because 2 single specific actions that occurred. All right. Now, new point in the story. Okay, at approximately the same time, however, as I was hanging, so ongoing action, I was hanging by my hand, the barrel of bricks hit the ground and the bottom fell out of the barrel. So as this was going on, you have preterite action, the barrel hit the ground, the bottom fell out. Individual actions happen at a specific point in time, okay, and they're completed. Emptied, the barrel now weighed approximately 50 pounds. Okay, again, that's preterite. Okay, in that moment, it weighed 50 pounds. As you recall, I weigh 135 pounds. As you might imagine, I began a rapid descent. This is preterite. Anytime in action you want to say, you began to do something, I began a rapid descent, he began to talk at 10 months old, whatever it may be, that's a preterite action. Anytime we talk about an action beginning in the past, that's preterite. Okay. All right. So I began a rapid descent down the side of the building. In the vicinity of the 3rd floor, as I was going down, again, here comes ongoing action, interrupted. The ongoing action is always imperfect. The interrupting action is always preterite. So him hitting the barrel or met the barrel, this is preterite. As it was coming up, this also interrupted the barrel getting hit, okay, as the barrel was coming up. So you have an ongoing action, an interrupting action, and another ongoing action that was interrupted by the same thing, okay? This explains the 2 fractured ankles and lacerations on my legs and lower body. Because of the encounter with the barrel, I was going slowly enough. Again, look at the way the verb is phrased. I was going slowly enough to lessen my injuries. Okay, so that's again imperfect. Okay, because it's talking about an action, an ongoing action. We don't know when it began. Okay, so I was going slowly enough to lessen my injuries when I fell. All right, again, this is, he was going slowly when he fell. This is an interrupting action. That's preterite. I only cracked 3 vertebrae. So again, in that moment, specific point, okay, this is a preterite action. I am sorry to report, however, that as I was lying, again, you can tell by the way the verb is phrased, it's ongoing action, so that's imperfect. There on the bricks, in pain, unable to get up, I was watching. So again, action that was in progress or ongoing. Okay, I was watching, it's not completed yet. So the barrel's 6 stories above me, and again, I lost my presence of mind. So here is a completed action, and I let go of the rope. A completed action again. All right. So guys, this really, if we were doing this in Spanish, it would be kind of a tough activity. You won't do anything this tough, but hopefully you can kind of see just by looking at the verbs and how you're deciding to say something. Okay, if you're wanting to say that you were doing something, well, that's obviously imperfect. All right. If you want to say in a specific point, I did this, or I wrote this, or I saw this, then that's preterite. Okay, going back to those videos that you just watched. So hopefully, guys, that gives you a little clarity. Let me know if you have any questions about it, and do the 2 practice activities.